Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our conference webinar. Thanks for joining us. I'm Katie. I'm the head of engagement at Iris, and on the call today we've also got Mike Grocott and Neil Garrido, our regional leads. They'll be chipping in later in the call about the posters. So today we are going to talk through what to expect at a Iris conference. What you will need to prepare, so how to register, the posters the students are making, and kind of the next steps that you'll want to be thinking about as you're getting ready to attend an Iris conference. So I thought, what better way to give you an idea of what a conference is like than to show you a video and let you hear from the students and staff who came to last year's conference. Unfortunately, we did just check it and the video is buffering somewhat, so apologies, but I'll try and hit play, and if it's a bit painful, I'll circulate it afterwards and you'll be able to watch it then.
We're really excited. Yeah. It's a good experience. Yes.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
It's absolutely great. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I think the calibre, I feel like we're at a conference.
Nice to see lots of people here sharing their ideas.
The panel was fantastic as well. I think my students haven't actually left the panellists alone since they have so many questions.
And it's really interesting to gain an insight into what other people have done and what they've researched into and where their next steps are, what their conclusions are.
We've not done something like this before, so it's nice to kind of get a new experience.
Just hearing how other people got on and like all the different things that they've researched and like the actual real world outcomes of it, like it's amazing to see.
You feel quite nervous because you've got to deliver your presentation, but as soon as we were up there, it was just, you felt really passionate about what you're talking about.
The standard of the research being done by the students here, I'd say is equivalent to like third year, fourth year undergrad work.
I've been really interested and blown away by the quality of the presentations and also the posters.
And honestly, a lot of it's going over my head, and that shows you just how good their research is.
It's really, really fun. I have to.
It's honestly great to be here with my team.
Hopefully that gave you a nice idea of, oh, okay, so I don't know whether that video was a complete fail or not, but hopefully gave you a slight indication of what the days are like. They're brilliant. It's lovely to see all of the students' work being able to be shared with other people in the room, and there's a real buzz. So I will share the video for you to have a watch at home. The days themselves, so the day is kind of a replica of an academic conference. So they run from around 10:30 till 3 p.m. It's slightly different for each venue, so do check the teacher information pack for the exact details. And each of the conference days includes a number of sessions the students will come to. So we have a keynote speaker, we have a research panel, and the students can ask questions from 3 early career researchers in different STEM fields. We have 2 poster sessions during the day. So every student that comes to the conference will have been involved in developing a poster. And for one of the poster sessions, they will stand by their poster and talk to people, other students, some of our visiting partner researchers about the research they've done, answer any questions. And in the other session, they'll be able to go around and see everyone else's research on display. And state schools can claim up to £500 of travel expenses or staff cover expenses to enable them to attend the conference. So these are the 3 dates we have for 2024. I will circulate these, so please don't panic about scribbling things down. So we will be in Exeter on the 12th of June, Manchester on the 20th of June, and London on the 25th of June. And of course, go to the conference which is closest to you. If you do have a date clash though, some exam timetabling or something, which means you can't make your nearest one, you are welcome to attend a different one if it's feasible to travel that far. And then a bit more information about the day. So we have mentioned that all students will have made a poster, and we do ask for a maximum of 5 students per poster group, and we find that works best. So if you've got say 6 students working on cosmic mining, you might want to start thinking now about them splitting into 2 groups of 3, each working on their own poster. And the regional leads will be happy to chat to you about how to make the posters a bit different. Each group might want to focus on something a bit different from the research that they've been doing. All students must be registered with IRIS to be doing a project this year. Most of you will have already completed a student registration form earlier in the year. And all school students must be, and school and college students must be accompanied by school staff. We know that for post-16, that's not always the case, but that is our policy. And if your students don't wear school uniform, please do encourage them to dress smartly. So some key dates for you to be aware of. So our registration is via an online form, which I'll talk you through in a minute. And this closes on Friday, the 26th of April. So you have got a couple of months, but please don't miss the deadline. Once you have registered with us, in the next week or so after registering, you'll get a confirmation email saying that, yes, we've got space at that conference, your students are welcome to come. And attached to that will be a student permission form. I will show you that in a moment, and that has to be returned to IRIS by the 24th of May. And that is a hard deadline because for most schools, that is just before half term. And during half term, we're going to be getting lanyards printed, which we give to all of the students that they can keep after the conferences. And because of the print deadlines for those, we do need those forms returned on time. So if you're worried about any parents that may be running late with those, you might want to build in a bit of buffer to make sure we get those on time. And then skipping back up to posters, so the deadline to get these to us is Friday, the 17th of May. That's for all of the conferences. And I should flag that the team, the regional leads, they are happy to give feedback on the students' work. So if you're able to get us a version a little bit earlier in May, that means the students will have a little bit longer to implement any suggested change or improvements that the regional leads have been able to give them. If they're small enough to email, you're welcome to email them to the team. If they're too big a file size, you can upload them on the IRIS Resource Centre on the project page as an upload facility. And then for any state schools claiming travel expenses, these need to be submitted by the end of the summer term, so mid-July. So I'm just going to talk you through where to find the relevant information. So as I mentioned, the registration is an online form, and this can be found on the IRIS Resource Centre. So you will need your school's login details. So that's a username and a password. If you've forgotten them, drop one of us an email. We can send that on to you. So when you log in, you'll see this page. And then in the top right corner, you will see the burger menu, which will bring up these options. You'll be able to click on IRIS Conferences 24, and that will bring you through to this page. This is really where everything you need to know about the conferences is, and I'll show you a few different things on this as we go through. First one is the register. So top left-ish, you'll find a link, and that'll take you through to the registration page. So this is just the top of it. This shows you basic information being asked. So which conference you're going to, which the lead teacher is we should be talking to about plans. And then when you scroll down, it'll ask you to list the students in each project poster group. So as I said, if you've got a group of 6 doing cosmic mining and you're having 2 groups of 3 with poster, you will need to have done that thinking beforehand before you fill out this registration form. This is the permission form that I mentioned will be emailed to you once you've hit your registration in. This is also available to download from the Resource Centre from the page I just showed. So you can access this at any point and send that out to the parents and get that back to us by the 24th of May. And then this is a zoomed out, probably a bit too small to read, view of the Resource Centre page. So the thing I wanted to draw your attention to is the venue information. So for each venue, each conference, there's a teacher information pack. This has loads of information that will be useful for you in your planning. And on the next slide, this is just an excerpt from the London one, but you can see it's got information about parking, travel, public transport. So we've tried to collate as much useful information as possible to make it as easy for you as possible to plan coming. So please do refer to those throughout. It should be really helpful. And I think now, Mike, bang on cue, I'm going to hand over to you to talk about posters.
Right, thanks, Katie. The artifacts are basically 2 main types, posters and presentations. So what we wanted to do is just talk a little bit more about the posters. Everyone who comes along needs to have been part of a poster group to exhibit their work. So unfortunately, bringing students along who might just want to make up numbers or for the experience, we're very, very busy, so we don't have that capacity. As it says, in terms of presentations on the registration form, you'll express an interest to present. Because as you can imagine, when you've got over 200 students, lots of groups, everyone wants to present, and it just isn't the time of the day. So what will happen is you express your interest to present, and then we'll sit down, we'll look through the research and the work that's come in, and then we'll turn around and let you know whether the students have been successful for actual presenting to the main conference, as in 5 minutes, or whether or not there'll be something called a lightning talk. But more about that information will come later on. So if you see on the next slide, it's about posters, and this is really important because we have a lot of posters, and this is about project-based learning. So what we want is we want the students to have the opportunity to have their work critiqued, positive and negative, and then to give feedback. And so that's why, as Katie said, if you get to as soon as you can, we will look through it once. And when we look through it, we'll just make comments to the actual on about the poster. And it will be down things like spelling, extra spaces. We'll also look at the science, but what we won't do is make any amendments. So if it comes in with lots of or a couple of spelling mistakes, we're not going to, oh yeah, well, we'll just change that because it's not our work. It's actually the students' work. So we'll then send the poster back with comments. So if if you submit it as a PowerPoint, there'll be comments on the PowerPoint. If you submit it as a PDF, which is the preferred option, we'll put comments on the PDF. Send it back to you for you to pass to the students and for them to review. The idea is it's then up to them if they want to do it, because we might make a assessment like, oh, great images, or you could do more images, or there's too much text, there's too many different fonts. It's up to them. It's their work. If they don't want to take note of any of the critiques, that's perfectly fine. The next time it's submitted, though, and it does have to be resubmitted back to us, that's when we'll print it. And that means that that poster is what they will stand in front of at conference. So please don't expect, just don't let the students expect that we're going to make any amendments, because we haven't got the capacity, and ultimately it's not our work, it's their work. And the idea is that they can actually reflect and realize that sometimes the first pass through is not the finished article. When they do submit the posters, can you please ensure that they save the file with the poster title or an abbreviation of it and the school name, and then submit it? We receive them all, and it can get slightly confusing when you're receiving 70 files, all called PH4 Artifact Development 23-24, with no idea who it's from. So please do get them to save it with ideally the date, poster, and school name, so we can easily identify it. One of the posters, as you see there, you'll also notice that when we submit the poster back to you, there'll be a little number on the bottom left-hand side. That's our reference number, so please don't have the students remove that. Now, in phase 4, there is a booklet, which, as you can see, they're communicating your research. In that, it gives the students advice on how to construct a poster, font sizes, colors, some tips about how to do it, also about presentations. It also talks to them about how to actually write an article from the research. So please do encourage them to look at it. It has a lot of the answers. When you actually get the templates, which are all available in PH4, please use those templates. Those are PowerPoint slides that are designed to be printed at A1 size. Please don't let them think, oh, it's just a PowerPoint slide, and then they build a poster on a standard PowerPoint size, because we won't print it, because when it's enlarged, it will pixelate. Also, if they submit anything like as done in the past, PNG files, JPEGs, Word docs, anything that isn't a PowerPoint or a PDF, we'll send straight back and ask them to change it. So it's very important that, because we haven't got time to then go and start doing conversions. The templates are there for a reason. There's some key points of the template. all students must have their names on it, the school name, school logo, IRIS logos. Now, we do have people create their own PowerPoint slides or templates, so they use this right slide, but they just fill it with their own. That's fine, but they must have their names, school names, as well as the appropriate logos, and acknowledge any additional support that they've had, whether it's a local university and such like. You'll also see on the bottom of the templates, we can see there that for Future Flight, UKRI and Innovate UK and Zero Avia are acknowledged. They are sponsors of our projects, so they need to be acknowledged as well. And that raises the issue for students who are submitting work which is like a non-IRIS project, original research. What we want, if they are going to, well, actually, Katie, could you put the next slide up, please? Do that. Within the booklet, there is a self-assessment and peer assessment. These are also not within the booklet. There's downloadable as separate files, so you don't have to go through, find your way through the booklet. Please encourage the students to use these. It's this idea of reflective practicing. So they need to be able to have a look and use it as a checklist. And as I said, they're available. And if we could look at the last slide now, please, Katie. Have they done enough? It's up to them to decide. Now, you don't have to get to the end of the project to actually make a poster. If they're still in phase 2, so in the cosmic mining, they've done the 10 and they're now analyzing the 50 known objects, they can still create a poster. Now, what they might want to do is actually create a poster about the journey, what they've learned, what they're doing, and the next steps. If they want to just look at one of the AOR keys, one of the specific objects, they can look at that in more depth. The idea is that you don't have to complete all your research to do the poster. What you can do is talk about what you've done so far, and then the students could say what they expect to see or the next steps. At this point, what we're really interested in is that the young people develop those key skills, those communication skills about how to talk about the science that they've done. As I said, the poster background, proposed method, future aims. Now it says about original research posters. What we don't want is posters that are basically preferred practicals for A-level physics or something like that, and just a poster of that. Now, EPQs are different because that's their own independent research. So what we would like is, novel or new research to them, not just some of their A-level work. And if students are doing working with other organisations, so whether they're doing a field research project or something like that, if they want to present at IRIS, every student needs to be registered. So that you would need to register the project as an original research project, but also the poster would still need to reflect our standards. So we would expect an IRIS logo on, we'd expect the student names on it, rather than just another poster just being exhibited at our conference. We've got title, school names, project by name. I think that's about it. Talking mainly about posters, there will be more information about presentations closer to the day.
Thanks, Mike.
Katie.
Just over to ask any questions. I'll just open the chat and check. If there's anything we've not covered, now's your chance to post that in the chat and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Apologies again about the technical issues earlier with me being unable to use YouTube properly. Okay, it doesn't look like we've got any questions, so I think we'll leave it there. Thank you everyone so much. I will circulate this information for you and we'll hope to see your registration for conference soon. Thanks so much.